too much. Okay, this is. I see I put some Finnish here, so I can quickly browse through this. I do have a English version as well, but this talks about the sustainable innovation, where again we have to have the kind of public sector very strongly participant on the kind of technology, ICT technology enablement, and then the market allowing the service to appear. So only through inclusive by the public sector and the business, sustainability will appear. This is a kind of a purposefully, we put in Living Labs the users on top. So it's a top-down process as defined by the users, and with multitude diverse different ways to implement it. But they do have physical location, so they do have a place, and the challenge is how we then link these demonstrative places in different parts of Europe, that we learn and we create a common virtual market. But being really realistic so far, it's in the area of preventive healthcare, public sector type of energy, definitely, where we see the Living Lab model being more successful at this stage. And maybe the reason is that many of the public sector processes are not that efficiently built. So there are more potential for innovation in public sector area. But there's also great enablement by public sector. This just tells you about the different, the Living Labs are so diverse that it is sometimes difficult even to defend them, because many regions call themselves Living Labs. One of the, to me, funny Living Lab is a L'Oréal Living Lab. It's in Champs-Élysées, the street of Paris. And what it is, it's basically, you could say that it is a Living Lab. It's just the flagship store of L'Oréal. So they open up the doors and you can go and do your own makeup and then give your feedback to L'Oréal. So they call it as a user-driven open innovation Living Lab. To me, it doesn't meet all the requirements of user-driven open innovation. I think we have to separate just kind of marketing type of getting feedback from a customer to a true Living Lab where the user is designer of the new product. So for me, a man or a lady doing makeup and saying that this is not good is not enough, not a Living Lab enough. So, but you will see. Just quickly through the actual strong movement in Europe started from the Helsinki presidency 2006, when we formed the European organization and got 60 million from European Commission to implement it. And now we've gone through all the presidencies, and all the countries bring their own specific issue to the Living Labs. Like the Czech presidency said that Living Lab is needed in the rural countryside area. So we have to be inclusive to the rural villages and bring innovation to rural areas. The French presidency said that the problem is to involve SME companies to the innovation process. The Swedish presidency emphasized the regional aspect of innovation through Living Labs. Slovenia, as a small country, they've been very active from the relatively beginning of the Living Labs. They saw the small country challenge of open innovation. They said that innovation and Living Labs have to always happen cross-border. So they said that why forest fires crossing the border, the forest fighters are not allowed to go cross-border from Italy to Slovenia. They gave kind of examples why ambulance service cannot cross borders. Public services are not crossing borders even if need is high. So with very simple type of examples, the Slovenians showed that it's the small countries who lose the most on creating kind of a border barriers towards opening up the services. And they've done excellent Living Lab in e-banking, in their region and in logistic services, cross-border innovative logistic services. So again, each country bringing their own concern on open innovation, and then we'll implement it throughout the network of living labs. So it's been interesting, but it's now been growing partly out of hand. So it's it's a market market of its own. Now in the Spanish presidency in Valencia in April, we will bring 30 more living labs, 70 more, around 70 more. So we will have some 200 living labs, and we've just completed the evaluation, and I mean it was fantastic. We got a lot of very strange countries in Africa applying, and Asia and Latin America. So we seem to start getting really strong global reach, believing on this type of open innovation systems, ecosystems. So and I'm personally working very much with Brazil on living labs in small villages in Amazonas area. We have Nokia has a big factory in central Amazonas in the jungle, Manaus, and part of its social responsibility or actions is to be inclusive to the Indian population in the villages. So we have started creating small-scale living labs around the villages in order to be inclusive, putting kind of a basic healthcare systems into a container and taking them to villages for cases of like water purification, creating micro businesses for villages, like creating kind of the elderly person in a village could then start running their own micro operator service. So going from the village phone system to the micro village operator system. We have now implemented 14, not only in Brazil but South Africa, Southern Africa and Indonesia and the Philippines, such concepts. So again, bringing a kind of an open source platform, the physical equipment to a village which might not even have electricity. Bringing them the kind of a fuel diesel engine, solar panels, wind turbine to create a mini electrical grid, put up a computer, base stations, antennas, put up the small with a price of 15,000 euros, they'll have a small mini mobile phone network there. So interesting things how by providing such facilities you can get kind of the development going on in such areas, and then they could be linked into the kind of economic system of the region of Amazonas. So and with the idea of open innovation. Okay, just few words, because again living lab is kind of, it's a bit of a prostituted definition, because everybody calls living lab in whatever it is relatively open or innovative. So this tries to kind of illustrate that I mean we've had market research, I mean 100 years, where we focus on asking customers, what do you think about our product? And they test our product and they give the feedback. I mean, there's nothing living laughing on that, or simulating data of people's actions. It's something which does not have the real engagement of users. So you have to start getting user engagement, participating users in your kind of early design process. You have to start getting collaborative groups, and even you would go and see where users become designers of new processes, or even in the best cases, users as producers and sharing those services. Like the Arabia Ranta case, which is one of the oldest living labs that I work mostly in Helsinki. It's the community who has created these community-based services. The city itself produced a kind of a broadband network to each home and each office building, so that they can get a cheap access, but all the applications are designed by the people. I mean, very simple.